Hello everyone, this is Anushka Jain, CA and ACCA, and I'm here to clear all your concepts of NPV relevant for the financial management paper of ACCA. I'm sure if you watch this video till the end, you're going to learn a lot of things, a lot of tricks and strategies to deal with an NPV question in the exam. In today's video, we are covering the question which came in March-June 2023 attempt, Gini Company. So let's begin with reading of the question. Gini Company is a listed company that manufactures innovative products for the telecommunication industry. Gini Company has just developed a new product called the LP500, which is expected to have a project life of 4 years. Gini Company's management has decided that the sales price for the LP500 will be $90 per unit, as anything higher than this will dramatically reduce the expected annual sales volume, which is currently forecast to be 20,000 units per year. So they've made your life easy. They have given you the same quantity per year. The variable cost of the LP500 includes the cost of a bottom component, the X22. The price of the X22 has been volatile due to the supply problems with the manufacturers, and consequently, the variable cost per unit is at present uncertain. The management of Gini Company has made the following estimates of the variable cost per unit along with the associated probability. So variable cost per unit of 40, 50, 60, 70 and respective probabilities of 20, 40, 20 and 20%. Incremental fixed cost will be $300,000 per year. All of the above figures are expressed in the current price term. That means in real terms, inflation has not been adjusted so far. Sales price inflation is expected to be 5% per year. Variable cost per unit inflation and fixed cost inflation is expected to be 3% per year. New and equipment costing $1.5 million will need to be purchased at the start of the first year of operation and is expected to have a residual value of $125,000 in nominal terms at the end of year 4. Gini Company pays corporation tax at a rate of 20% and taxes payable at the end of the year following the year to which it relates. The company can claim tax allowable depreciation at a rate of 25% per year on a WDV, reducing balance basis, with a balancing adjustment in the year of disposal. That means whatever is the balance in the last year, it will be charged off to the P&L account. Additional working capital totaling $100,000 will also be required at the start of the project. Working capital inflation is expected to be 3% per year. Gini Company is nominal, that is inflation adjusted after tax WACC is 12%. And what you have to do is calculate the expected NPV of LP500 project and comment on its financial acceptability. It is carrying 12 marks. So let's take a look at the solution. We start off with a brief heading to the solution, and I would suggest that you also follow that in exam. Calculation of NPV. Okay, calculation of NPV. We mentioned the year, note number, and the respective years. So we have to be very clear while presenting our answers. You have to ensure that the examiner is able to follow your calculations properly. So always do the detailed calculation in notes. Do not clutter your main answer. So let's come to note number 1, where we discuss the sales revenue calculations. Sales revenue inflation was given as 5% and the real selling price per unit was given as $90. So that is 90, 90, 90 every year. But we have to adjust it for inflation. So how do we do it? We multiply it with the inflation factor raised to the number of years for which inflation applies. Always remember when dealing with inflation that inflation is a compounding factor. That means it applies year on year. So 90 into 1.05 raised to the power of number of years, that is 1. Here it becomes 19 to 1.05 raised to the power of 2, raised to the power of 3, and raised to the power of 4. Then we have the sales volume. It's 20,000. I've done the volumes in thousands, so I've written just 20 over here. And I can calculate the sales revenue in thousands again. So I just multiply the nominal selling price per unit with the sales volume. Okay. And we are able to get the sales revenue. To avoid any cluttering, I have done the calculation in a note, and I would suggest you also do the same. Give proper reference to the note by giving a note number, which you can mention in your main answers. So here we have started off with sales revenue we have given the note number, and we have mentioned the revenues in the respective years. So always link your calculation. See how I am linking it. B28, it is linked with the sales revenue of year 1. This makes your answer very much legible for the examiner to give you marks. Next, we have variable cost. This also we are doing in a note. So let's come to that. Note 2 on variable cost. Give proper headings so that the examiner can follow. So this table data was given to us. Different variable cost per unit, because it was mentioned that the variable cost was pretty uncertain. So variable cost per unit and the respective probabilities, we can calculate the expected variable cost, right? And that is 54. Inflation for variable cost was given as 3%. Now, in the same way as we did for revenue, we can calculate the variable cost. We have the real variable cost per unit. We can multiply it with the inflation factor raised to the power of number of years, and we get the different values here, like 54 into 1.03 raised to the power of 4, raised to the power of 3, raised to the power of 2, raised to the power of 1. We have the volumes. We multiply with the volume to arrive at the variable costs. Okay, so that helps us to get the variable cost. And then what we are going to do is we are going to link it above. We're going to put the costs in negative. So that's why I have given a negative sign and linked it with the cost that I calculated here. Right? Then we have the fixed cost. Fixed cost was given to us and the inflation rate was same as that applicable for variable cost. So we do 300 into 1.03 raised to the power of 1, 1.03 raised to the power of 2, raised to the power of 3, raised to the power of 4. That is our fixed cost. And then we come to depreciation calculation. So let's come to the note. Note number 3 on depreciation. Cost of investment is $1,500 in thousands. And rate of depreciation is 25% on reducing balance basis. Okay. So opening balance for year 1 would be 1,500. And I'm going to charge depreciation at the rate of 25%. So I get the closing balance. That becomes the opening balance for year 2. Again, we charge depreciation at the rate of 25% on the reducing balance. That helps us to get the closing balance for year 2. That becomes the opening balance for year 3. Again, we charge depreciation at the rate of 25%. We get the closing balance. Then we again arrive at the opening balance. And it was given that the asset would be sold for 125,000. Okay, so that is my terminal value. So barring that is eliminating the terminal value, my balance is 508. Because it was given that balancing adjustment would be done in the last year. So whatever is this balance, that gets charged off to the P&L, 508. And 125 we are going to consider as a cash flow in the 4th year. Okay. So 508 would be charged off as depreciation and 125 would be considered as cash inflow. Okay. So that was depreciation calculation. We come up above here. Again, we're going to link it because it's a cost. We're going to link it as a negative item. That helps us to arrive at the profit before taxes. Very simply, we sum it up. We sum up the revenue and the costs in negative and we arrive at PBT. Okay, you can just drag across the formula. You don't have to do it again and again. You can just apply it once and then drag it across by doing Control C, that is copy, and Control V, that is paste. Then we calculate tax. Tax was given at the rate of 20%, but very, very careful. It was supposed to be paid in arrears, that is 1 year later. So the tax of year 1 will be paid in year 2. So we consider it as a cash flow of year 2. 94 into 20%. Negative again because tax is an outflow. So 239 into 20%. 365 into 20%. And we add one more year. Although the project was for 4 years, but because the tax is being paid in arrears, we add one more row. And we do 127 into 20%. So these are my tax outflows. Then I add back depreciation. Why so? Because NPV considers cash flows. So why did we deduct depreciation in the first place? Because depreciation is a tax deductible non-cash expense. So we first deduct the depreciation so that we can do the right calculation of taxes and we add it back. Okay, so that the effect of deduction is knocked off, it is set off. So we add back depreciation and we arrive at the operating cash flows. These are my operating cash flows. So that is PBT minus taxes plus depreciation. So I get these as the operating cash flows. Then initial flow, that is initial investment was how much? 1500. Then we also have to do adjustment for working capital. Now this is tricky, so please be careful. It was mentioned in the question that investment of, let me take you back to the question once. Additional working capital totaling 100,000 will also be required at the start of the project, and working capital inflation is expected to be 3% per year. Now, at the start of the project means in the 0th year, you consider this as a cash outflow of 100. Then what? Then we have to make the last note relevant for this question, and that is on working capital. Always remember that it is the change in working capital which is considered as cash flow. $100 in the 0th year will be the cash flow because you're going to invest that money in the business in the form of maybe debtors or stock. So that 100 it completely is cash flow. Then that would be my closing balance also. So year 1, my opening balance is 100. Inflation was set to be 3%. So then that means 100 into 1.03. That is going to be my closing balance. But remember, 100 is already invested in the business. The additional investment which I have to make is for the difference between the closing balance and the opening balance, which is 3. So I'm going to invest this money. Similarly, in year 2, the opening balance will be the closing balance of the previous year, that is 103. We again do the adjustment of closing balance minus opening. What is the closing balance? Again, it will be a compounding effect. So I do 103 into 1.03. So I get 3. Again, this becomes my opening balance for year 3. Difference will be 109 minus 106. And in the last year, whatever is the balance, whatever has been invested in the business so far will be released from the business so that my closing balance becomes 0. So the change will be 0 minus 109, that is 109 negative. So very, very interesting calculation and a common mistake done by students. Please avoid it. Do not consider closing balance as the cash flow. It will be the change. So I go up and I link it here. So working capital, I link it with the change row. If you see, it's linked with the change row, not with the closing balance. And in the last year, as it was given that $125,000 will be, taken out in the form of the sale proceeds of the machinery. So that is 125. And that brings us to the project cash flow. That will be the sum of initial flow, then operating flows, and the terminal flows. So then we just simply add them all up here like this. Okay. And then these are the cash flows in the respective year's value. We have to find out their present value. So how do we do that? We use the discounting factor. We were given with a nominal cost of capital of 12%. So we're going to use this 12% to calculate the discounting factors. Year 0 discounting factor will always be 1. Then what do we do? 1 divided by 1.12. Okay, 1.12 raised to the power of number of years. Always try to link as much as possible. So we have linked it with raised to the power of 1. 1 divided by 1.12 raised to the power of 2, raised to the power of 3, raised to the power of 4, and raised to the power of 5. And then we multiply these discounting factors with the project cash flow to arrive at the present value of cash flow. So we get 1600, then 416, 398, 373, 506, and negative 14. To calculate the NPV, what do? We simply sum them up. We sum up the present value of cash flows, and then we get the NPV of $78,000. And with this, you get your much deserved 12 marks. Very precisely you have touched upon all the calculations with proper notes and the accompanying calculations. I hope this video helped you. If it did, do click the like button and do not forget to subscribe to my channel for more such interesting and informative videos. Thank you so much. Wish you all the very best.